There you are. Where have you been, young lady? Oh, hi. I'm back. Jonathan Charles Fox, Dharma the Wonder Dog. I couldn't find her because she was sleeping, and now she's annoyed because I woke her up. Go, do whatever you have to do. Hi. It's 4:20, so you know what that means. Time for another fine installment of Life at Camp Fox. However, we're not in Camp Fox, as you can plainly see, and there are a couple of reasons for that. One is that it's been raining for 19 days, so Camp Fox is a little waterlogged. We have not been able to make a fire outdoors. We have not been able to enjoy Camp Fox in all its splendor, and we're kind of jonesing for sunshine and lollipops. Is that the old expression? Anyhow, here we are, indoors at Norma Desmond's Catskills Retreat with Dharma the Wonder Dog. So one of the reasons I wanted to be indoors for a change was to address some email. It wasn't email. I actually got mail. I got a postcard from a fan who went out of their way, to find my address, which is not easy to do, and send me a little note. And by little, I mean a lot of scribbling. And I'm going to share it with you now because it amused me so much. Oops, I almost forgot. Alexa, set the timer for 11 minutes.
11 minutes,
Starting now. I don't want to get carried away. As we all know, the last time I visited you here on the YouTube, I stayed far too long, and I don't want to do that to you again. And at the same time, I want to block a light switch behind my head. So here we go. You ready for this? Dear Jonathan Charles Fox, are you spoiled or just a brat? Or both? You have everything, it seems. An opulent home filled with treasures from around the world, an adorable dog, and a private campground on your property. What are you complaining about? Not signed. Anonymous. Not signed. Not signed. And the postcard is pretty good. I have to, here it is. Here's the postcard. Looks like an old timey artwork tattoo kind of thing, right? And apparently it's called Shark Girl, and it's a vintage decal from Uruguay. Maybe my fan is from Uruguay. I don't know. A lot of postage went into this. So I want to address some of these issues. Dear Anonymous, thank you so much for reaching out, calling me a brat and spoiled, and paying very close attention to my opulent home, which we can see behind me. Oh, including that darn light switch. My opulent home. Thank you so much, with treasures from around the world. I would say that's a bit of an overstatement. There probably is one key ingredient to you, Mr. Anonymous, and you at home, thinking that I live in an opulent home filled with treasures from around the world. I'm going to tell you a little secret. It's a gay thing. I learned from the best, and the gays, you know how they can be. They can make magic out of almost anything, and apparently I am living proof because my opulent home is really a one-bedroom cabin in the woods, and my treasures from around the world, each and every one of them, they're treasured by me, but if you look up close, some of them are junk. I'm just saying. I've told you before, I have a house full of junk, and that's for a number of reasons also. I used to go antique shopping with my mother, who had a very keen eye. Although, well, the stained glass behind me was my mother's, but I found it. I'm looking for something behind me. Oh, you could see way up there is a little Murano glass vase that was my mother's. Even she didn't pick that out because it was a wedding present when she and my father got married in, I don't know, 1876. I inherited that, along with a few other things. But I learned to go antique shopping with my mom, and I've always loved antique shopping, and junk to trash to trash to treasure kind of a thing. I mean, this magnificent, opulent, I could never be a weatherman, this magnificent, opulent thing that you can't see very well that's got crystals hanging from it, and it's a sconce. My friend Janine discovered emerging from the rubble of a burnt-out mansion in Bel Air 100 years ago, and she contacted me. I think she called me and said, I just saw some junk sticking out of some junk that I think you're going to want. And we made that beautiful, beautiful thing happen. The opulent magnificence directly under it with yet another tassel. Gray skies, cloudy, rain in the future. I'm Jonathan Charles Fox, live from Camp Fox with the weather. A cold front moving in. Anyhow, that's a piece of plastic. I'm just saying. So my mom, even though she had a keen eye, she also had dropsy. She broke a lot of things. And so everything I own is basically worthless, other than, of course, the sentimental value, which is tremendous. So I have some beautiful things, but then when you look up close and personal, they're chipped, they're cracked, they're glued. My mother was very handy with gold paint and a little paintbrush and a glue gun, and I inherited some of those skills as well. So it's all really, dear Anonymous, put together with spit and a promise and a gay sensibility. So I guess that kind of would define my design aesthetic. Is that what they say? These young folks who think so much of themselves, they're probably the brats and spoiled. Oh, so let's get to that. Spoiled. Oh, shoot. Spoiled. No, I was definitely not spoiled. I actually wrote down the Google definition of brat and then left it downstairs. So I'm certainly not going to leave you and start a multi-part thing. We all know that that can go south very, very quickly. So I wrote it down, but the definition of brat basically said a child who exhibits poor behavior. I forgot to turn my soundtrack on. Oh, that's better. Don't you feel calmer? I know I do. A brat is someone who's overindulged, is the word that was used on the Google, by their parents, and as a result exhibits poor behavior. So no, none of that happened. I was not overindulged. I grew up in a lower middle class household that really strived to be middle class, and we saw middle class for a minute or two. I didn't learn a whole lot about how to handle and the value of a dollar, but that's a story for another time. So spoiled and brat. Yeah, not so much, Mr. or Ms. Anonymous, whoever you are. You have everything. You have everything, it says. You have everything. Everything is a lot, and I don't have everything. But I firmly believe, all part of that design aesthetic thing, that we are on this plane of existence, for whatever that means, and have these great senses: sight, sound, touch, feel, smell, hear. We have all these great senses so that we can really soak in the beauty of the world that is around us, whatever you see that beauty to be. I see beauty in a lot of things. I see it in lovely antique oil paintings. Eventually I can point to. I see it in Murano glass. I see it in the stained glass behind me. I see it in the broken down Bel Air, burnt out wall sconce. But I also see it in trees and flowers and nature and animals. I love animals so much, including the one that I live with. She doesn't love me, but, you know, what are you going to do? So, opulent home filled with treasures from around the world. Well, maybe in a sense that's true, because I do like what I consider to be beautiful things. Art is subjective. I was just writing about that earlier today. Art is clearly subjective. And Baroque candelabrum, dripping with crystals, that's been broken and repaired 100 times, so is worthless, is not everybody's cup of aesthetic tea, but it is mine, and I make no apologies for it. I was just speaking. I had a small speaking engagement at a small gathering fairly recently. Obviously, they didn't really know who I was, otherwise they wouldn't have asked. But they asked me to come in and talk to their group, and I did. But what I talked about was, on a slightly more serious note, the gifts, for lack of a better word, that I felt that COVID has given to me in the last year and a half or so. COVID has been a horror show from beginning to end. It's almost impossible to find a silver lining in there, and yet I have, because, dear anonymous YouTube watcher, I've come to appreciate my home in a way I never did before, because I've been able to spend time here. So I've been hanging out in Camp Fox, hanging out in Norma Desmond's Catskills Retreat, and enjoying my opulent home and my magnificent lifestyle in my one bedroom. I wonder if you're going to see this on the screen. I'm getting texted by somebody, I don't know who. And of course, without fail, they call Dharma the Wonder Dog an adorable dog. I got nothing to argue with about that. And a private campground. Well, yeah, you know what? It's a camera, not a magic wand. It didn't just appear out of nowhere. I created it myself during better times when I had more strength and could really rock a saw and a wheelbarrow full of rocks. And that's how Camp Fox really came into being. It wasn't here when I moved into this house, and I don't know whether it'll be here after I leave this mortal coil. But it's here now, and it's a completely different kind of beauty. And if you see that, dear YouTube watcher, as having everything, maybe you're right. Maybe you're right in my little one-bedroom cabin in the woods with sleeping loft. I'm not denigrating it in any way. I'm very happy that I found this little piece of paradise, especially now that I'm a crazy old man. So apparently, I'll leave you with this as the music builds to a crescendo. Apparently, I'm a crazy old man. So I had to go to Dollar General today and get some supplies that I don't like paying an arm and a leg for at the schmancy grocery store where I buy food I actually ingest. So I went to Dollar General, and there was a big old sign on the door saying, closed till further notice. That could mean anything. That could mean anything. So I didn't want to go to the place that rhymes with small fart. So I drove another 20 miles to a different Dollar General that I don't usually frequent, so I could get my paper goods at a reasonable price. And it took me forever to get there, and I realized I'd never actually driven there as a destination. I've passed the other Dollar General on occasion going to or from other places, but I've never gotten into the truck and said, I'm going to Dollar General in Eldred. But that's what I did. That's what we did. Dharma was all excited because she gets to ride in the cart and, say hi to people. So we did that, and because it was a Dollar General I've never been to, I was unfamiliar with the setup. They're not all the same. It's not like Home Depot where no matter where you go in the world, every aisle is the same. My mother was delighted to learn that when I informed her because I'd go to Florida and know where everything was. Anyhow, I went to the unfamiliar Dollar General. I had a list of like 6 items. Naturally, I spent $80 instead. And I kept wandering around looking for things, and young people, like high school, very well-mannered, nice, polite employees kept asking if they could help, and I said, yeah, I need... Uh-oh, there's Alexa. Alexa, off. All right, I got like a minute. I said, I need baking soda, and they steered me to baking soda. I said, I need paper plates. Somebody steered me toward paper plates. I'm walking up and down the aisles, talking to my dog, and then stopping basically anybody who was within earshot and asking them questions or just making commentary because, I guess... that's what I do. So that's what I do. That's what I did. I left after spending $80 on baking soda and paper plates. Don't ask me how. And as I walked out the door, I said, you know what? I think I've become that crazy old man at Dollar General that a long time ago people would run into, people like myself, and say, oh, ooh, look at the crazy old man. He's got some issues, and he's screaming about paper towels, and he's talking to his little weird dog, and... oh, I hope that never happens to me. I don't want to be a crazy old man. Well, you know what, people? Here we are. I've become that crazy old man. I am not sanguine about it, as Robin Seidel would suggest I be, because it's such a good word. I'm going to have to think about that. So I will. I'll leave you on that note, and hope you all are having a fabulous day. I know we are here at Norma Desmond's Catskills Retreat, tucked into Camp Fox. This is Jonathan Charles Fox. She's Dharma the Wonder Dog. Subscribe down below. I think it's down below, right? You can subscribe, you can comment, and if you want to ask me a question, don't send me a postcard. Just put it in the comments. I'll read them, I swear. And ring that little bell, and that reminds you when there's a new video, and you can be the first on your block to be aware of the sheer brilliance that is Jonathan Charles Fox and Dharma the Wonder Dog. Okay, I'll see ya.